The Outer Frontier. Book 2. The Frontier Origin. Chapter 2. The Age of Discovery. 3 centuries earlier, long before Bastion 9, long before the Frontier Fleet, long before anyone had ever spoken the words Outer Defensive Front, humanity still believed the stars held more promises than dangers. The orbital shipyard above Mars drifted slowly against the crimson planet below. Construction drones surrounded a sleek exploration vessel whose silver hull reflected the pale sunlight. Unlike the massive warships that would one day defend the frontier, this ship possessed no armor belts, no missile batteries, and no heavy railguns. Its hull was graceful. Its engines were oversized for speed rather than combat. Its sensor arrays occupied more space than its defensive systems. Painted across the bow in dark blue letters were the words, UES Pathfinder. Workers floated around the vessel, completing the final inspections before departure. For most of them, this was just another launch. For the crew waiting inside, it was the beginning of history. Commander Nathan Hale stood quietly on the observation deck, overlooking the docking bay. 46 years old. Explorer. Navigator. Former astrophysicist. He had crossed more unexplored systems than almost anyone alive. He carried no legendary reputation, only experience. He watched technicians disconnect the final service umbilicals. Beside him stood his executive officer, Commander Sofia Alvarez. "You always come here before departure." Nathan smiled. "I like seeing ships before they become stories." She looked toward the Pathfinder. "And what story do you think she'll tell?" Nathan answered without hesitation. "I hope a peaceful one." Inside, the ship-controlled chaos filled every deck. Geologists calibrated drilling drones. Biologists prepared portable laboratories. Linguists updated translation algorithms. Engineers tested atmospheric probes. Medical teams inventoried supplies. Astronomers argued over sensor calibrations. Only 12 members of the crew belonged to security. Even they carried compact defensive weapons, rarely expected to leave their lockers. The Pathfinder had not been built to fight. She had been built to ask questions. Hours later, the final docking clamps disengaged. Mars slowly rotated beneath the ship. Mission Control transmitted its farewell. "Pathfinder, you are cleared for departure." Nathan settled into the command chair. Navigation. Course locked. Engineering. Drive ready. Science. All laboratories operational. He looked around the bridge. Most of the officers were smiling. Some were beginning their first interstellar mission. Others had spent years dreaming about this moment. Nathan rested his hand on the console. "Let's go find our neighbors." The stars stretched into brilliant lines. Then, the Pathfinder vanished. Over the following weeks, the ship crossed regions no human vessel had ever surveyed. Entire nebulae shimmered with impossible colors. Gas giants larger than the sun floated silently through the darkness. Ancient stellar nurseries gave birth to new suns. Every day brought another discovery, another catalog entry, another unanswered question. The galaxy seemed endless and welcoming. On the 38th day, everything changed. "Commander," Lieutenant Ishikawa looked up from the sensor station. "I'm detecting artificial emissions." Nathan turned. "Distance. 3 light hours. Power level. Low. Military. I don't think so." A quiet excitement spread across the bridge. Humanity had detected countless natural phenomena before. Artificial signals were different. Someone had built them. Someone was out there. Nathan stood. Reduce speed. No sudden maneuvers. Open every passive sensor we have. The Pathfinder drifted forward with deliberate caution. Several hours later, the unknown vessel finally appeared. It was unlike any human spacecraft. Its hull resembled overlapping stone plates wrapped around a luminous central core. No sharp angles, no visible weapons, no recognizable engines. The bridge became silent. Nathan spoke softly. Record everything. The alien ship reacted immediately. Its engines ignited. Not toward the Pathfinder. Away from it. They're retreating. No, Lieutenant Ishikawa enlarged the tactical display. They're keeping distance. They're just as nervous as we are. Nathan laughed quietly. So they're intelligent. For nearly 3 days, neither vessel approached. Both scanned one another continuously. Both altered course whenever the other came too close. Neither side wished to become history's first mistake. Finally, the Pathfinder transmitted a simple mathematical sequence. Prime numbers. The alien ship answered. Not with words, with geometry. 3-dimensional mathematical structures appeared across the display. Dr. Evelyn Ross, chief linguist, smiled. They understood. Nathan nodded. No, they wanted us to know they understood. There was an important difference. The conversations lasted another week. Mathematics became physics. Physics became chemistry. Chemistry became biology. Slowly, concepts became language. Language became names. The species called themselves the Nareth. They inhabited only 4 nearby star systems. They had explored space for nearly 800 years. However, they had never encountered another intelligent civilization that far out in that region. In fact, they had never ventured that far. The weeks that followed became a celebration. Scientists exchanged knowledge. Engineers compared propulsion systems. Doctors discussed medicine. Artists shared music despite understanding almost none of each other's cultures. Nathan realized something remarkable. The galaxy was not empty. It was simply too large. Civilizations could spend thousands of years growing in isolation, separated only by unimaginable distances. Perhaps the greatest barrier between intelligent species had never been hostility, only distance. One evening, Nathan and the Nareth ambassador walked through the Pathfinder's botanical garden. Artificial sunlight filtered through the transparent dome. Between unfamiliar flowers and carefully cultivated earth trees, 2 explorers spoke as friends. Through the translator, Nathan asked casually, "Have you met many other civilizations?" The ambassador considered the question. "A few." He gestured toward the holographic star map. "They live inward, closer to the galactic center." Nathan nodded. "And outward?" For the first time, the ambassador hesitated. "There are none." Nathan smiled politely. "You mean you haven't found any?" The ambassador slowly shook his head. "No." Another pause. "No one travels there." Nathan frowned. "Why?" The translator required several attempts before finding equivalent words. Finally it spoke. "Because that is where life ends." Nathan studied the holographic map. The ambassador illuminated dozens of ancient star systems. Some contained abandoned observatories. Others had once supported flourishing civilizations. According to Nareth historical records, every one of them had fallen silent thousands of years earlier. No one knew why. The oldest stories simply referred to those regions as the quiet stars. Generations had avoided them, not because anyone remembered the danger, because everyone remembered the warning. That night, Nathan remained alone on the bridge. The stars drifted silently beyond the forward viewport. Commander Alvarez approached carrying 2 cups of coffee. "You don't believe in legends?" Nathan accepted the cup. "No, but I do believe in patterns." She looked toward the highlighted region. "You think they're connected?" Nathan didn't answer immediately. Instead, he zoomed out. The abandoned systems formed an almost perfect arc along the outer edge of the galaxy. Not random, ordered, as if something had swept across that region long ago, leaving only silence behind. The following morning, the Pathfinder prepared to continue its survey. The Nareth delegation departed with promises of future cooperation. As both ships separated, a warning tone interrupted the bridge. Lieutenant Ishikawa frowned. "I'm receiving a transmission." Nathan turned. "From Earth?" "No, the signal is extremely old." "Origin?" "I can't determine." The recording was weak. "Corrupted." Fragments repeated endlessly beneath layers of static. Dr. Ross began filtering the audio. Unknown sounds emerged. Not Nareth, not human, not any known language. Minutes passed. The translation algorithm struggled. Then, one word appeared on the central display. "Run." The message repeated. Again, and again, and again. Nothing else could be translated. Only that single word. Run. No coordinates. No explanation. Only a desperate warning sent by someone. Long ago. Nathan stared at the stars beyond the bridge. His expression remained calm. But something had changed. For the first time since leaving Earth, the galaxy no longer felt infinite. It felt watching. He spoke without taking his eyes from the darkness. "Set course toward the transmission." The bridge fell silent. Commander Alvarez looked at him carefully. "We don't know what's out there." Nathan nodded once. "Exactly." Outside the viewport, the Pathfinder slowly turned toward the uncharted darkness beyond the last known stars. Toward the region every civilization seemed to avoid. Toward the place where, according to ancient legends, life ended.